Hi guys, good morning. How silly of me to think that I could sit in peace at dog level. Just kidding, I love it. I'm sitting amongst the sunflowers this morning, opening a very fun present. So there's a viewer, her name is Tammy. Hi Tammy. You live really close to the place where they do the Baker Creek Festival in California. Obviously, that's a very long trek for me, but she knows just how much your girl loves seeds. And so she went for me and picked me out things and sent them to me. How sweet is that? And I'm gonna read the note. Thank you. So, I'm gonna unbox them on camera. I got this package 2 days ago and I've been dying to open it, but now is the first day that I've had a chance to open it on camera. So to do it justice, I'm opening it on camera with fresh eyes. I don't know what these are. She did send me a picture, but I didn't really look at them because I wanted to be surprised. We all love a good seed unboxing, don't we? And I used to question children that watched other kids play with and open toys. And I'm like, but you have toys. Why don't you play with them? And as an adult, I love nothing more, especially on a winter day, to watch someone else open seeds. So I get it. First up, Desi squash. She probably knows that I love a fun shape, and this is fun. Who wants a regular zucchini when you can have fun zucchini? I call all summer squash zucchini, by the way. And I haven't grown this one. I don't think that I've grown this one. I've grown round ones before, but I think it was a different round one. Ooh, dragon's egg cucumber. I know a little boy who would love to put this in his garden. My son Hunter he's a dinosaur kid, so dinosaurs and dragons are his jam. And so he's gonna think that that's really cool. My favorite fruit is cantaloupe. I also call all melons that aren't watermelon cantaloupe. Just makes it easier for my brain to categorize, but I'm excited for this. Very sweet and fine flavored. It's the crane melon. So far, so good. I haven't grown any of these before, which is exciting. Stop pulling on my dress, sir. This boy is Mo. I think some of you missed our introduction. He's a dachshund. He's almost 12 weeks old, I think. Here's his form, his shape, his size. So rotten, but I love him. I haven't grown this one either. Japanese tiger melon. Isn't that beautiful? It says it's small, a pocket-sized melon with crisp, sweet, fresh, and beautiful striped skin. And it says prolific vines, which is always good because sometimes melons aren't super productive and then you waste all that space to grow 2 melons on a vine. I think that I've grown this before, but not to fruition. So last year I grew tons of different kinds of melons and they all died. This year I had a good melon year, but I don't think that I have the seed for it, nor have I tasted it. I might have tried to grow it before. It seems familiar, not sure. Blacktail watermelon. Another one that I have tried to grow and it either got lost in the vines and tags mixed up and I didn't know what I had, but I don't have the seeds for this anymore, so that's fun. Thank you. It's a smaller melon. This is good for if you live in the north because you know watermelons take forever to grow. 12-pound fruit, red flesh, very sweet, which is exactly what I'm looking for in a melon. Ooh, I don't have any of these. This is so fun. Boston marrow. I am going to get back on my winter squash game next year. I've missed them so much. I grew none. Somehow, I grew no pumpkins, no winter squash, nothing to store. How sad. But you guys, this gardening year for me has been horrible. Which is so sad because garden time is my favorite time and I've just been so disappointed. The weeds have taken over. I don't know if you're like me, but there has been a drought. It's awful, it's dry, it's hot. Disappointing gardening season. But you know what the bright side of that is? Next year. So we get to plan now. I'm starting planning now. I'm already over this year's garden, although these sunflowers that I'm sitting amongst was a great decision to throw all my sunflower seeds in the ground at one time. Very happy with that decision. But there's always next year. And I've already tossed this year's garden in the trash can. I mean, it's still here and I'm still enjoying it and it's still feeding me, but in my brain it's over. I'm already planning the magic of next year, plus with everything that I've got going on. A lot of you have been asking me for progress on the permaculture garden, and I just don't have anything to share with you right this second. Jeff is a very busy man. He's in Jordan working on his Greening the Desert project, which is super cool. You should check it out. I will link his I'm going to link his channel in the description so that you can go and see what he's doing because it's magical, to say the least. Plus, catch up on all the old stuff from his home farm. But he's a busy guy. I'm just patiently waiting. Once he gets the plan done, though, I can start working here, which is really exciting, and I'm going to take you guys along every single step of the way. There's going to be excavation. There may or may not be pond building. We're planting hundreds and hundreds of trees, if I can afford it. Obviously, I did win some money, but you know how expensive trees are? And the plan that he has planned for here is not your everyday backyard forest garden. It is a farm scale forest garden. And so you guys are going to be amazed, okay? It's well worth the wait, is what I'm trying to say, I think. Kajari melons, my favorite. Which is good because I only got one Kajari melon this year before it died, and I didn't get to save the seeds. Whoopsie doopsie, but I got another one. I have tried to grow this before. Walking stick kale. I'm going to try again next year because to get this magical size stick, and I think I'm going to grow it up against my barn just like in this picture so that I can support it so that we can get a giant, who doesn't want 12-foot tall kale? Don't know a person that I know that doesn't want 12-foot tall kale because I do. Plus, the fun thing about this, you guys know that I'm into arts and crafts. If you don't know, hi, I'm Kim. I'm into arts and crafts. And this winter, I plan to fill all my wintertime sadness because I get so sad and depressed in the wintertime when everything is brown and dead and cold and ugly and not filling my soul, okay? It sucks a little piece of my soul out every day that it's under 50 degrees and the sun's not out. But you can grow this in the stalk you can dry to make a walking stick. And how fun is that? That's why it's called walking stick kale. That is fun. Plus, I'm leaning heavy into permaculture in the next forever. I've done a little bit here and there, but I really just want to change, shift. And thinking about that, thinking about growing forages for my animals. So I have plenty of room here. There is no reason why I cannot be growing more things to ease the feed bill. I just hope I'm not sitting on an anthill right now. Anyway, going into the future, I mean, the price of everything is astronomical. The price of our food, animal food, supplies, life is just through the roof. So if I can ease the burden of all these animals that I keep acquiring, for one, my husband will probably love that. For two, it's just like the cycle, This is how it used to be in the old days, and we need to get back to that. We need to stop relying so heavily on everyone else to provide us for everything that we need. companies to provide our clothing that we wear twice and throw away and go in a landfill. Companies to provide the crap food that they provide for us, because don't you worry about it. You just worry about going to work and then leisuring after work. Companies to provide us with seeds, although I do love seed companies. I don't want those to go away at all. But I think that if more people saved their own seed and had that skill, the life would be better. Because this can get expensive. And while I'm very thankful for grain growers all across the world, organic is the best way, and that's hard to find. I currently buy non-GMO grain, and they don't. I've talked to the people who buy it. I buy my grain from an Amish mill local to me, and so we have a really close relationship. They love my husband. He can get any detail that you would ever want to know out of them. But the growers that they buy for, they don't spray the crops once they're growing. They do spray an herbicide to prep the field because they don't till, so they do chemically get rid of the weeds, which I don't like at all, but you know, good, better, best. And then they don't spray the crops once they're growing, like conventional farmers do. So I am thankful for that. It's the least amount of chemical that I can find and afford, which is important. And it's non-GMO. Anyway, I have also always wanted to grow this, because look at how big those leaves are. Think about using one leaf for a whole soup. Think about making wraps out of that. Also, great fodder and forage for your animals. A cow would probably love this. Love that. Well, this is my favorite kale. How did you know? I always grew up in the last 4 years that I've been gardening. 4 or 5, who knows. I always called it red Russian kale. It's also called ragged jack kale. Fun fact, it's actually green. It gets purple when it's cold. So if you grow it in the cold, you'll see it's beautiful purple color. It does have a purple stem and purple edges, but if it's warm out, it's green. I just sowed all the seeds that I had of this. I've never grown it before, but I am putting it in my winter garden this year in my tunnel. And so, hey, thanks for restocking the seed for me. Hopefully I like it. I love all greens, so I'm probably going to like it. There's not much that I don't enjoy eating, especially vegetable-wise. I am a vegetable gal. I like them all. Oh, these little cutie tiny ones. Bok choy, little tiny baby ones. Hidu. My kids would probably like that because they're miniature. Paris Island lettuce. I do like this one. Grows really good in the cold. May Queen. I've never grown this one. It's a butterhead lettuce, which is one of my favorite kinds of lettuces. And it's tinged with pink. Isn't that beautiful? And it forms a head. A lot of the butter lettuces are open. Well, I haven't grown this one. Chinese cabbage. This is like what you make kimchi out of. It's got a softer leaf than a traditional cabbage. Cold, hardy, and prolific. Ideal for kimchi, stir fries, and more. Excited to grow that next spring. Cilantro. I was literally getting ready to plant some in my green stock. I'm going to do a video, I think, on what I'm going to put in my green stock to overwinter, because if you don't think I'm bringing that bad boy inside once it gets below 20 degrees at night, you're wrong. How did you know I'm trying to get into plant dyeing? This is very fun. You can use the seeds of this sunflower to make your own beautiful purple dye. I think it's purple. Stellar shades from dove gray to deep purple. Isn't that fun? And it also says you can use it to dye, obviously, clothing organic not synthetic clothing. So, and basketry, which I know you guys are all surprised, but I'm gonna get another hobby and I'm gonna make baskets this winter. You wanna come along the ride with me? It hasn't arrived in the mail yet, but I ordered 20 pounds of willow. I'm also going to be foraging for willow that grows wild, but you gotta wait till the leaves fall off. If you can't tell, I'm trying to stack my winter with activities that I'm looking forward to, that I'm excited about, that I can research, so that it gives me something to do instead of dwelling on how long and cold and dark and gray winter is. Orange King Calendula. I don't think I've grown this one before. I've grown lots of different kinds of calendula. I love them all. I make my own skincare with that. My favorite lotion ever, and I've tried several different kinds. I've made tallow lotion, which I do enjoy, but I like my calendula one the best, and it's the easiest on my face. Aren't these pretty? Paradiso. Super duper. It's a double echinacea. We all know that I love a fluffy flower. And I do love a flower that doubles for tea. You can use this, harvest the flowers for tea. Also pollinators, all these spiky flowers, I don't know what it is. Maybe the nectar is sweeter or something. But I see so many pollinators on the flower spikes, like basil, like things that send up a stalk flower. They love it. Queen Lime Orange is my favorite of all of the queen zinnias because I love a peachy, yellow, golden, honey colored flower. That is my favorite color palette of all time. And I don't have the seeds of that because I saved the seeds of my queen lime and none of them came back really the same because I had a whole field of zinnias and they all just crossed with each other because you know how that works. Scabiosa, because we know we like a cupcake center. Also, thank you. You know that I love food and flowers, and I can tell that you thought about it. This is a new one, I think. Plumosa glorious. I think this was new last year or this year. Beautiful. It's a dwarf plant and it's just 8 to 10 inches tall, so you can have these on your porch. I'm gonna try to do more pots on the porch because I really do love having them, but my toxic trait is that I'm really excited about potted plants in the beginning of the season, and then once I have all this stuff outside, I really forget about my potted plants and I usually kill them. Whoopsie. Wild bergamot. This can go in my forest garden because it's great for pollinators. It's a perennial and it's native to the prairies, plains, and meadows of North America. So it will probably thrive here. Dwarf tomato, orange hat. I also potted these up, which I ran out of seeds, so thank you for restocking my supply. Because I was supposed to save the seeds and I accidentally killed the plants. So I forgot about them in my high tunnel and it got really hot and really crispy and really dry. Green tiger. I've had lucky tiger, but not green tiger. So that's fun. I love green tomatoes. It's one of my favorite color flavors because they're like usually a little tangy, a little sour. Ooh, and its sister, pink tiger. Haven't grown this one either. It says, reasonable earliness and excellent flavor. I grew these for the first time this year. And they're so delicious, so sweet. One of my favorite, and it's a bigger one. So you know it's really good if I like it because I don't like bigger cherry tomatoes typically. If I do like it, it has to taste really good. And this passes the vibe test. Also, if any of you wanted a review. You know, every year I put out a tomato video, and every year I mean to review them as like a second part. They all died. Whoops. I'm not lying when I said this gardening year was awful for me. There's always next year. Ooh, this is fun. I've never seen this one. Outrageous flavor and exceptionally high yields. Hardy plants and multi-purpose. That's what I need. I need hardiness, because when you grow so many plants, there's a little tinge of neglect in there, okay? The strong will survive. So hopefully this can survive my mild neglect. Prairie Fire. Isn't that beautiful? Lots of tomato seeds, because you know I am a tomato gal. Thank you so much. This is one of my favorite tomatoes of all time. First of all, the color. You don't see a tomato this color. It's burnt orange. It's terracotta. It's beautiful. The flavor is delicious. And I didn't plant any this year. I guess I just didn't know that I was out of seeds and didn't save any. What a shame. I got to like, my plants were already 4 weeks old, and I'm looking at all the tags and I'm like, no thornburn terracotta. Oh, my favorite tomato of all time. Berkeley tie-dye green. Have I grown this one? I know I have pink Berkeley tie-dye, but have I grown the green one? If not, that's very exciting, because I love a green tomato. Plus, look at the beautiful stripes, and I love when a tomato has a surprise in the center. Okay, that's one stack of seeds. You guys, thank you so much. I have a whole nother stack. Another thing that I'm going to try to grow this year. Actually, it will be next year, but I'm going to plant it this year. Which reminds me, I planted some. I thought I did. Maybe it never came up. All of these are spring wheat. Okay, so these, she sent me 4 packs of beautiful heirloom wheat. I am so thankful for this. And I know you didn't know that I had this in my brain. I mean, you couldn't have known because I didn't speak it out loud. But I am going to try to grow my own wheat this year. We eat so much flour. We eat so much flour. Well, we do. But usually I turn it into something. I'm not just eating flour. But I bake everything, all of my family's needs. If it has wheat in it, 9.9 times out of 10. There might be a 0.01% that, like, in a pinch, I'll pick something up. Conventional wheat is so horrible. So here's how they do it. They spray the field to get rid of weeds. Then the crops come up. Usually they don't have to spray, they'll spray an insecticide to keep the bugs out of the wheat berries. Then they usually don't have to spray another round of herbicide like they do on corn and beans, because it's planted so densely and it's in a season where not a whole lot of weeds are growing, so there's not a lot of competition, and then they get up and they get fluffy and they drown out the weeds. And then when the plant is almost ready to harvest, they come through again. I'm not saying everybody, but just bulk majority. They come through and they spray again. They spray that herbicide again, like a Syngenta, like a Roundup, like a cancer-causing chemical. They spray that again to dry the plant out, because it kills it, so all the moisture is leaving the plant, so that when they harvest, they don't have to worry about moisture content in the grain. Stores better, easier to pick, whatever. But at what cost? We're literally poisoning ourselves for the sake of convenience. And no one knows that. No one cares. No one's like throwing themselves on the steps of the courthouse. And it's in every ultra processed food. Corn, soy, wheat. It's killing us. I buy organic wheat berries to try to avoid that as much as possible. But to kind of relieve our grocery bill. I have the space, I have the time. This is literally what I love to do. So I'm gonna try to grow my own wheat. We'll see if it goes well or not. We'll see if in the future I'm still growing my own wheat. But you get not only the wheat berries, which are the seeds that you turn into flour, but you get straw. And that would be really cool to grow it, eat it, bed my animals with it, and turn that into compost, because they're gonna poop on it, and then I'm gonna put it in a pile, and then it's gonna turn into delightful, rich soil. Permaculture. Anyway, that was my rant on wheat. This is a beautiful blue wheat. Think of all the blue tortillas I could make with this. Doesn't that sound fun? There is spring wheat and winter wheat. All of these say plant in very early spring, but I will do my own research to see if I can head start it, because I'm not super cold. I mean, we do get really cold, but I'm not like a zone 3 or 4 or something. A lot of wheats are winter hardy enough that if you get them started in fall, they can overwinter and get a head start in the spring, because they're already established. They won't be growing during the winter, but they can survive. This is Red Fire. I've heard of this one. It says it's an old Mennonite variety, a favorite wheat during the late 1800s. Hey, this one says grown as both a winter or spring wheat. So this is a hard red wheat. Blue Ethiopian Ember. I have not heard of this one, but isn't it beautiful? And its sister, Ember. Beautiful. This one says superior disease resistance, and it even yields in poor soils, often digestible by people with gluten sensitivity. So also, modern wheat has been changed so much, because wheat back in the old days used to be like tall, like 6 foot tall, just these massive swaths of grasses, basically. I know wheat isn't a grass, but in your head it kind of looks like it. And over the years, we have chosen genetics to make it shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter, so that our mechanical combines can just drive over it and harvest it. Because what they're after in reality is just the tips. And so they're wasting all of what I call biomass that I would love to have, but they think of it as a byproduct, and they're not really doing much with the straw other than selling it to people who have animals. But back in the day, all of that biomass, I mean, 5 feet, 6 feet tall wheat, think about how many uses that could have. But instead, we're just thinking about the one product that you want, and not all of the things that you could use from the plant. So, old wheat is good wheat. And in that breeding, it has changed the plants over time. And so, heirloom and traditional varieties are typically easier for you to digest, better for you, more protein content, blah de blah. I was so disappointed in my onions this year. I didn't have great germination for whatever reason. I've always grown onions from seeds, or at least the last few years, and I've always had great results. I didn't have great germination on my onion seeds. I don't know if they were like maybe a couple years old, because onions are one of the crops, or onion seeds are one of the seeds that don't store very long. So maybe that was the reason. But anyway, I panicked and I bought onion sets to go with my onion slips, or my onion starts. And they're awful. They were awful because it was so damp at the beginning of the season, and then it got so hot, like half of them bolted and then the other half rotted, and I don't even want to talk about it. So there's always next year. And so I'm looking forward to growing so many fun onions, because we use at least an onion every single day, at least one, if not like 1 to 3, really, every single day of the year. We be eating onions. golden beets. Golden beets are my favorite beets because I think beets taste like dirt. And I wish that I didn't because they're so good for you. But I cannot. If you bake them, the flavor mellows and goes away. I can eat them like that. If you pickle them, the flavor mellows. I can eat them like that. But the golden beets are actually the ones with the least dirt flavor. So if you are a beet hater like me, but you want to like them because they're good for you, try golden beets. Plus, I see all these delicious recipes for like shaved beet and goat cheese salad, and I'm like, all I can think of is that probably just tastes like stinky dirt. But I wish I liked them. This is my favorite radish of all time. Favorite radish. You can never have enough seeds of this. It's a long one. It's beautiful. It's crisp. It doesn't get as spicy in my experience as other kinds of radishes, although they all get spicy eventually if it's hot. This is loofah. I love to make everything that I can from scratch, so making your own sponges sounds so fun. Sugar Rush Peach, one of my favorite hot peppers, and I'm a weenie and I don't really love hot peppers at all. I'm not even an inkling of like, but I like to turn them into things. So every year I make hot pepper jelly, which never turns out to be jelly because I don't ever calculate the pectin right, but I've learned to love it as a syrup, and I call it hot pepper syrup, and I put that on everything, okay? I'm also going to be fermenting hot peppers before the frost comes. I'm going to go through and pick a ton and ferment into hot sauce. Anaheim, another spicy chili. It says mildly hot flavor. They're lying. It's hot. Oh, I haven't grown this one before. Sugar Bon peas. I love a snap pea, and this one is great because it needs no trellising. Because half the time that something needs trellised, I neglect it until it's too late, until it's a tangled mound on the ground. Because I say that I'm gonna come back and put the trellis up, and then I never really do. So this is a dwarf variety. So those of you that are like me, you can not fret if it falls on the ground because it's fine. It only gets 1 to 2 feet tall. It says early high yielder, tidy and prolific. And I need something that's going to be tidy for me because I am not tidy. I don't have a tidy bone in my body, and I wish I did. But I don't. All my bones are messy. All my bones are clutter and fun and creative people aren't tidy. And I haven't had this either. I've never successfully grown lima beans. I've tried, and I don't know what I do wrong, but this one should grow because lima beans like cool weather, and usually it goes from like, we don't have that much spring and it turns hot fast. And so this one is a heirloom from Alabama, and it says it does well in extreme heat and drought conditions, which is what the world is turning into, just drought and heat all summer. We no longer can we rely on summer rains to bless us with their presence, at least not in my region. There are parts of the country that can, and I'm really jealous for those of you that get consistent rain, because us that don't are crying watering our garden, or like me, forgetting to water our garden. But that concludes my seed unboxing video. This is probably obnoxiously long, but if you are a real gardener, a seed crazy gardener, you loved it. Just admit it, you did. I do. I love watching these, and I'll watch them cover to cover. But to the person who sent me these, thank you so much. I love you. Are we best friends? If you get seed mail, I'm pretty sure that means that we're best friends now. But thank you guys for watching my seed unboxing, and thank you to the person who sent it to me. Thanksgiving turkeys are going great. They're supposed to be in a net. Do they stay in the net? No. Is it my fault that they're not in the net? Yes. If you looked very closely over here, you would have saw a white little fluff ball walking by. because my Thanksgiving turkeys are invading my life. But it's fine. They don't get to be here for a long time. They're here for a good time, I guess. It's the least I can do, is to just let them live wild and free while they're here. And then they're going to bless me with a delicious Thanksgiving meal. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time.